Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am excited because, of course, this is the month of September, but we have a wonderful guest and she's going to be sharing with us how she can help you take that idea and it can actually be published because I know you got the journals, the notes, they're here, they're there on your tablet, on a flash drive. So, Tanerra, welcome today.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talking about being organized so we can go from idea to execution.
Oh, I love that idea of the execution. But before we get into those strategies, I want you to share with those watching and listening, like what made you decide to, start your company, The Amazing Corner, but and also just help those of us who really need help.
Yeah, it started organically to be honest. I'm no different than any other woman. I'm super busy. I'm super piled. I have many hats and I have many to-dos on a day-to-day basis. And back when my son was 7 and he's 13 now, we had this astronomical schedule, right? We're running from school to after school activities to swim class to church to dinner to homework. And I'm like, okay, how do I make our time quality, full of quality? So we would have conversations on our car rides, when I'm helping shampoo his hair at the swim class. And I just started to engage him on certain different conversations. And I was asking him things because I like to make him think critically and in an imaginative way without knowing I'm doing this on purpose. And I started to ask him different questions about if you could be a superhero, what kind of superhero would you be? And what are some of these things that this superhero can do? And who else, is there and things like that. So he got so excited, of course, a 7-year-old boy, they're full of action and adventure. And he just went on and on and he kind of took over. I wasn't asking any questions anymore. He was just sharing more and more details about this superhero. And I was so fascinated and so impressed that I said, this is a book. So we decided to run out of the bathroom from our shampooing and write everything down in notes. And I'm like, we're going to write a book. And again, like many busy families, you have ideas and dreams and you get busy and you forget about it. So fast forward about a year and a half later, he received a book from a young Black man. And I said he was 9. And at that time, my son was 9. And that was a empowering moment for me because I said, if he can do it, we can do it. Young Black man writing a book, and this is one of our goals. So that helped to remind me of my own goals and said that we can do it. And that's kind of, you asked why I started. I wanted to share our journey and our experiences and our goal achievements to inspire other people to achieve theirs. So the same way we were inspired. So that's kind of how we got started. Did I answer everything?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So, and I love the way it just kind of organically happened. You were just
Absolutely.
having a conversation and then boom, you're like, you know what, we need to put this in writing. But so what really, Tanera, prevents us from moving forward? Because as you know, and of course I know with the organizing, I come across all of these notes and journals and this and that. What hinders us from just like taking that step and like, you know what, I need to reach out to someone like you and I need to get this process started.
Yeah, so I wanted to share that also I started because I wanted to have ownership and rights to my own things. I had the
Mm.
ambition, but I wanted to add the ownership and autonomy. But what stops some of us is a few things. Some of us is not living intentionally. We're just living in a moment and we're just reacting to whatever life sends our way. But other reasons could be fear, lack of knowledge, and then self-doubt. Sometimes it's not that you don't believe in yourself. You just don't have any examples of it happening before. You don't have the know-how or where to start, and we have a fear of failing sometimes, like we just doing something we've never done before. We don't know anyone who have done it, and we just won't start. We allow that to stop us from moving forward. So we get a lot of the cases of the what ifs, and what if no one likes it, what if no one buys it, what if I don't do a good job. But I think we shouldn't allow that to stop us. To start where you are, try something new, take bet on yourself, and just give it. Someone always needs what you have.
And you're right. You're so right. And I mean, your catalog is just wonderful. And I want you to talk about that a little bit later. But for somebody who's listening or watching and saying, okay, I hear Tanera, I've got these notebooks, or even like, is there a specific place a person should start? Like maybe somebody just has an idea, but then somebody else has like a
Hmm.
whole container full of
Yeah.
notebooks over the, like, is there a specific place? And also, how can somebody just get started?
I would go somewhere and find something very practical. So whether you go to the dollar store or Staples or Barnes and Noble and find a book that you are going to use that's dedicated to this work. If you're getting full stories, because some people get full stories or full chapters or things like that, as soon as they come, if you can do a thought dump. So either it's putting notes in your phone, notes in this dedicated book, or voice notes, dump that, because sometimes that's your best work, something that's not overthought, criticized, analyzed, but just fresh creative thought. So you want to capture that when you can. And then I would say create some protected time. So for me, that's what helps me stay organized and to help me execute, where I say every Tuesday at this time I'm going to write from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Or I said every Sunday after church I'm going to go sit in the library, I'm going to go sit in the Starbucks, I'm going to go sit in the bookstore, and I'm going to write for 2 hours. You put your phone on do not disturb and you execute. And that helps you continue to move the needle. Make sure your family is and your friends are aware so they know that this is your protected time. This is something that's meaningful to you, and they'll give you that space and also respect you and encourage you. So you'll have someone to check in on you if you fall off the wagon a little bit, to say, hey, how far is the book going? I'm like, I promise this to my friends and my family and to myself. So let's get this done. So protected time is one of the things I think is important, and have a dedicated space so everything is in one space.
And I like the way you say about the time, but also the space, because I was going to ask you, should you have a space in your home? But I
Mm-hmm.
see sometimes you do go outside of your
Yes.
home in order just to do that. So that's nice to know, because I don't want people to feel like okay, I've got to have this corner in my space. I've got to have my
Mm-hmm.
notebook. I've got to have these colored pens. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for sharing that. So Tanera, with some of the clients that you have, what are some of the types of books? Because as I said, you have a fabulous catalog, and you have it from, like, you have children authors, but all the way up to, you do work with adults. So what are
Right.
some of the, like, types of books that you work
So absolutely. So I prefer children's book
with?
as
Okay.
my main genre, but then my second would be self-help books. Things that are going to empower women and teen girls are something that I'm also passionate about, because that's the space that I am. And one of my favorite phrases that I've been sharing a lot is, we give people what we need. So to be honest, this is what I need. I need to be empowered, I need to be motivated, I need to be inspired, and I want to be around like-minded people. So what I spend my time in is where content that speaks to that. So also I offer that to others. So our catalog features, I would say about 2/3 of the books are children's books, and I would say kids 0 through 8th grade. And then we have a small quantity of teen and adult books. And again, they're definitely in the self-help genre. So anywhere from memoirs, autobiography, journals, as well as how-to. So just to help empower and encourage one another and be each other's partner in growth.
So Tanera, with all that you do, your wife, your mother, I know you're involved in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You have your company, The Amazing Corner, but you also support your son and his, desire to be an author, because I know he's written a few books.
Mm-hmm.
You've written a few books. So how do you manage it all and still taking care of Tanera?
So I'm gonna say honestly, I don't always do it well.
Okay. Okay.
So I would say I might do a good 75-25. But when I find myself falling into that 25 space where I'm all over the place, I take some time back. So first, I always pause. I have a little method I created myself called the reader method. And the first R is rest. So sometimes we just jump from job to job, task to task, trauma to trauma, and we don't allow ourselves to rest. So when I feel myself getting overwhelmed, frustrated, annoyed, hitting roadblocks, is often because I'm not resting and living, like I said at the beginning, intentionally. I'm just on autopilot, and that's not healthy for us. So I always create rest first. So let me just rest, reset, and that could be an hour, that could be a couple of days, that could be a week. And then during the tail end of that resting period, I create to-do lists. Now, I'm horrible with creating long to-do lists. So in my to-do list, then I prioritize. What 3 things on this list need to be done today or this week or by a certain date? So I would say definitely rest, evaluate, then assess how are things going right now? So if I do nothing, what happens? So often you're going to be stagnant or things are going to get worse, and we don't want either of those. So then we go into the development phase. How am I going to execute what I want to have? And then you educate yourself on, how do I get these things done? So it's 2 E's. So it's educate and then evaluate. What come out of all of these things, and then I reset and I repeat. So you just kind of do those things. But I would say before you start, kind of just give yourself whatever time frame makes sense. Sometimes we only get an hour. Sometimes, and I just had this an extremely busy day yesterday where I just literally went and sat in my car for 20 minutes in quiet, and that allows us to have a clear mind, reset, great energy, and then push through. The day still may be busy, but we have a little bit of time. So how I get through all of those things is having lists and prioritizing. So it's like I know I need to get all of this done, and it's way too much for one person to do in a day, a week, and sometimes even a year. What are my top three priorities? So for this year, my top three priorities was my coloring book, my children's book, and a game. And we just knock them out one by one. So if we think about it all at one time, we're going to get overwhelmed. We may quit. We may cry. We may get frustrated. But let's do one at a time and go from there.
I like the way you said it. Just make it as simple because I was sharing with someone that a friend of mine, she had like 30 items on her daily to-do list.
That I
And
do
I'm
it. It's horrible.
and I said, there are 30 days in a month, as I said with a smile. But you're right, you have to have those priorities. And I like the way you did it because you've been able to do all of those things. So Tanera, I want you to share how people can connect with you, but also share because you've got a game out now, correct? So
So
you
the
went
game
from,
is still forthcoming. The
oh, the game
children,
is forthcoming.
yeah. So
Okay.
what I
All right.
have is a coloring and activity book. So I'm super excited about that. It's called Amazing Me Coloring and Activity Book. It's geared for ages 3 through 8, but you can go up to age 10. And there's not just coloring pages, but there's tons of activities. But the activities are very strategic. They help to foster a love for yourself, help to foster a love and respect for others, but also to impart can-do energy. So we want every kid, no matter their hue, their disabilities, or their abilities, to know that they can fulfill their dreams and they can be everything they want to be. And that's not just a cliche phrase. So the coloring pages definitely do that. It helps them learn a lot about other people, but help install some self-belief. So anyone looking to connect with me, all of my handles are The Amazing Corner. TheAmazingCorner.com is where you'll find our whole catalog from children's books to adult books, but we also have some services and author services. So if you are like Janice said, someone who's looking to get published, but you just can't find your way, don't know where to start, and you just want some help. So we can offer one-on-one mentoring. We can do from cover to cover self-publishing helps, and there's just a few other options there. So just check it out and tell me what you see. If you don't see what you're looking for, reach out to me. There's links and emails that where we can stay connected. But I want to be your partner in growth. I want to help you accomplish those goals and help you prioritize. So we're here.
And of course, those watching and listening, I will have all of Tanera's links in the show page. And again, this is a great time because we're going into, the end of the year. Maybe that's something you've been thinking about for the past few years. So just blow the dust off the container. Yes, I said blow the dust off the container. Take the lid off. At least just give her a call and say, hey, this is what I've been doing. These are all the things I've done. How can you help me? Because sometimes a phone call is like the start, and it can just kind of move you forward to actually, at some point, really picking up that physical book and saying, wow, I did it. So, Tanera, thank you so much for your time today. It's even inspired me to like, wait a minute, I got some stuff I need to write.
That's right. Let's get it done. So thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.